What exactly does the term Blaxploitation mean? For a quick explanation, the word Blaxploitation is a portmanteau of the words black and exploitation, specifically relating to exploitation films. These were films that seek to be successful by exploiting current trends and popular niches, such as carsploitation, sexploitation, or even monster movies. Blaxploitation films seek to find success by exploiting black audiences. They heavily perpetuated many stereotypes, usually having the main characters being involved with crime one way or another. Soul Vengeance, also known as Welcome Home Brother Charles, is a 1975 blaxploitation movie directed by Juma Fanaka. Fanaka was a writer, producer, and director who would go on to make 7 films in his career, with Welcome Home Brother Charles being his second ever film. Out of the 7 films Fanaka made, each one is considered a blaxploitation movie. Juma Fanaka's 1975 Welcome Home Brother Charles is a prime example of a blaxploitation film, with the narrative being driven by hyperbolic character archetypes of both men and women. The movie contains a pretty dark subject matter, with the film being a revenge story, yet most notable about the movie would have to be the method of which Charles goes around murdering the racist men who did him wrong. This being the fact that he has the ability to grow his penis to abnormal lengths in order to choke the men like a boa constrictor. This twist is revealed towards the end of the film, as earlier it is believed that Charles was actually castrated by the policeman who initially arrested him. The movie begins with Charles sitting atop a very high building, while a man who claims to be a detective wants to save his life. It then flashes back to the past where we learn Charles' story. Here we see his affiliations with his pimp friend, at the moment of the arrest. 3 years later, when Charles is released from prison, it's revealed that he wants to start a new life and be done with crime, as well as his pimp friend being revealed not to be his friend after all, as he did not attempt to help Charles during his trial. This was because he lusted after Charles' ex. One day, when Charles turns on the news, he sees the policeman who castrated him being rewarded on TV for a recent drug bust. This causes him to enter a blind rage, as he goes off to seduce the man's wife and kill him while he's sleeping that night. This is where the complexity of Charles' character is introduced. He wants him and his girlfriend to both turn over a new leaf, becoming deeply frustrated and angered when she mentions possibly returning to prostitution if they were ever down on money. The women in Welcome Home Brother Charles, in one way or another, are all reduced to sexual objects or tools. The black women featured are shown in various nude scenes of either stripping or sex. The white wives display the protection of white womanhood and are completely mesmerized by Charles' phallus. It's worth mentioning that the reason for Charles' arrest was because the policeman was staking out the pimp, as his wife was having an affair with him, which is also the reason the man castrated him, due to his own insecurities. When Charles goes to murder the judge who did him wrong, the detective that arrested him was one step ahead, waiting for him in the apartment. Here the movie comes full circle, with Charles running to the roof of the building, threatening to jump. Cornered by cops, the movie ends with his girlfriend screaming for him to jump. Welcome Home Brother Charles is a complicated film. It's nuanced with its approach in displaying things like police brutality. The characters aren't good and definitely do more bad, with the policeman and the detective being extremely racist and sexist. Their actions are justified by being placed in heroic positions and being praised by the court and media. This is contrasted to Charles' actions of revenge and murder, emphasized by the lying done to his girlfriend, as she is unaware of what Charles does when he mysteriously leaves in the night. Its complexities are overcast by its phallic means of murder. However, the shock and awe presented by this horror contains deeper messaging. Why display such a sexual manner of murder? The image of one man wrapping his genitalia around another to choke him to death is rather provocative. It's Charles' castration that fuels the narrative of not only racism and bigotry, but penis envy. Charles uses his abnormal penis to seduct the wives. They all listen to him with no will of their own. He does this, of course, purely out of hate-filled revenge. Charles killing the policeman with his, quote, manhood is his way of exerting his dominance over the man that ruined his life. The policeman's undoing being the product of his own insecurities and the castrated craziness he created. Charles's threats of jumping at the beginning and end of the movie correlate to the fate of the protagonists in blaxploitation movies. At this time, moviegoers did not want to see a black hero defeated. Regardless, it's better for Charles to control his own fate than be subjected to the treatment of the white men once again, giving a self-sense of freedom, despite how tragic it may seem. Welcome Home Brother Charles is a classic example of a blaxploitation film. The protagonist's actions come from crime, There are various long and drawn-out sexual scenes, and overall, the movie portrays many different stereotypes. Despite this, Funaka did not make these movies with any intent of exploitation. He created them with more of a serious intent. Yet, they still gained the attention from video distributors, and thus were distributed as Blaxploitation movies.